In this video, we'll solve questions 22 to 27 from the general reading section of Book 19, Test 1. The question type is gap fill or complete the notes. For this type of question, the information in the passage follows the same order as the questions. So, we'll scan each question for location keywords, find the likely location in the passage, read the question carefully, figure out the answer, and then move on to the next question. The passage is divided into an introduction and three parts with subheadings. The questions also follow the same structure. There is one question, and then the other questions are divided into three sections. The subheadings in the questions match the subheadings in the passage, though the wording is slightly different. For example, letting your manager know in the passage matches arrange a meeting with the boss in the questions. Based on this, we can predict where the answers are likely to be. The answer to the 22nd question will come from this part. Then we'll have two answers from here, one from here, and two from the last part. Before we start, let's see what the passage is about. The heading says resigning from a job in a professional manner. So, whenever you and your are mentioned, it means you are the person who's resigning from the job, and this passage is giving advice to you about how to resign in a professional manner. Let's start with the 22nd question. Avoid all blank to resign in an angry way. To find the answer, we scan the keywords like avoid and angry. In the first line of the passage, we see phrases like dance your way out of the door or get your own back by criticizing your boss to the whole office. Get your own back means to get revenge against someone who has upset you. There is no synonym to the word angry in the passage, but dancing when you leave the office after resigning or getting revenge by criticizing the boss, these refer to angry ways of resigning. So, what should you avoid? You should avoid the temptations or the desire to resign in such a way. So, you resist or you avoid temptations to dance your way out of the door or to criticize the boss. We have the word all in the question. This gives us a hint that the answer would be a plural word. And the word these in the passage means all these temptations. The answer to the 22nd question is temptations. Let's move on to the 23rd question. The subheading before the 23rd and 24th question is arrange a meeting with the boss too. We have already discussed that from the layout of the passage with three subheadings and an identical layout of the questions, we know that the answers to the 23rd and the 24th question will be from this part of the passage. Also, this point will be mentioned between the 23rd and 24th question in the passage. The second point in the question, which does not have any blank, is mentioned here. So we can be sure that the answer to the 23rd question will be from this paragraph. Some keywords from the question are projects, underway, give ideas for. This there in the question refers to the projects mentioned before in the question. Underway means anything which is still going on, which is not completed. So here we are talking about projects in the office which are still incomplete. This sentence says, before the meeting with your boss, write a list of ongoing tasks Ongoing tasks are the tasks or the projects which are underway, along with the status updates, which means you give update on what is going on in the project at that time, and suggestions concerning completion. You give ideas or you give suggestions for or concerning the completion of the projects. The answer to the 23rd question is completion. So, in the question, it says you arrange a meeting to do this thing, and in the passage, it says do this before the meeting. So, if you have made a list before the meeting, you're making this list to discuss it with the boss during the meeting. Let's start with the 24th question now. Request information from the boss on the type of blank you will receive. So, you will receive something from the boss or from the company after you resign. You're requesting information about the details or the type of the thing. Request information means you ask for something. It's very clearly mentioned in the passage that you'll ask for a reference, which is our answer. A reference is a letter that the employer gives about your work skills, your behavior, which can help you to look for another job. The issue, however, is that in the question it says the type of. So you're asking the boss, what type of reference will I get? The details of this are after this. These are the different types of references you may get. The employer may give you a basic reference, your line manager may give you a personal reference, and making sure that you get a good reference will help you get another job. So, our answer does not come from the part of the sentence which has the word type, because the most basic type refers to the most basic type of reference, and the word one, which is mentioned twice after the word reference, refers to the reference. So, your line manager might also give you a more personal reference, and making sure you get a good reference can make subsequent job hunting less stressful. The answer to the 24th question is reference. Moving on to the 25th question. So, as we discussed before, steps you can take before you leave corresponds with the heading preparation from the passage. So, the answer to the 25th question is expected to be from this part, and this part of the question will be mentioned after the answer in this paragraph. So, these are things you can do before you leave. Work to cause as little blank as possible to the organization. The next point, which does not have a blank, talks about making sure that your successor has adequate guidance. Successor means the person who will do the job after you. This part of the question corresponds with this part of the passage. We are expecting the answer before this. In our day to day life, we use the phrase workout for exercise, but it also means plan. So, plan to make sure that the transition or the change is easy or smooth from you to your successor, the person who's going to come after you, and minimize. Minimize means to make minimum, that is, to make as little as possible. Disruption means any kind of interruption or disturbance to your employer or to your organization. So you plan things out so that there is very little or as little as possible disturbance or disruption to your company and your employer. So the answer is work to cause as little disruption as possible. The answer to the 25th question is disruption. The next point in this subheading does not have any blank. So now we move on to the next subheading in the questions, which means the next subheading in the passage also. These are all the things you should or should not do in your resignation letter. In the resignation letter, avoid mentioning any blank in the organization. So we are looking for mention of something in the organization which we should not mention in the letter. In the sentence with the next blank, the word appreciation is mentioned. We see the word appreciated here and later as well. The last sentence corresponds with this part. You don't need to give lots of explanations and justifications. This part tells me something I don't need to do, which could mean something I need to avoid. Give would mean mentioning. So, what this part of the sentence is saying, don't give a lot of explanations and reasons about why you are leaving. Although this sentence has corresponding phrases to avoid and mentioning, there is no mention of anything in the organization. The next sentence says, don't be tempted to address the failings of the company or your boss. Tempted mean the desire to do something, usually something we should not be doing, so something negative. The word address can have many different meanings. Here it means to talk about or to deal with. Don't be tempted means this is something you may want to do, but do not do it. Avoid doing it. Avoid talking about or mentioning the failings of the company or your boss. Failings means any kind of weaknesses or mistakes. This any in the question indicates that the answer should be a plural noun referring to some general issues. The answer to the 26th question is failings. The one big confusion when looking for answer to this question could be this sentence which has explanations. So you may write avoid mentioning any explanations, but then it does not match with the in the organization part of the question. The 27th question says in the resignation letter, show appreciation for aspects of the job. Example, the chance to improve your blank. Show appreciation means say good things about something or say thanks. Aspects of the job means different parts of the job. So, in your resignation letter, say good things about the parts of the job which helped you, or say thanks about those parts of the job. And an example is given which is talking about chance to improve something. Here it says, mention any particular career building projects you worked on. So, this is one aspect of the job. The other aspect is or opportunities to develop skills. Opportunities is chance, develop means improve. So, any skills that you have improved. The answer, therefore, is skills. However, the big issue is that the words thanking and appreciated are mentioned here, and the answer is much later. Usually, when example is mentioned in the question, we can find words like such as, like, or including in the passage to help locate the answer. However, this question is tricky. The word thank is mentioned here, and then starting from this word mention, everything listed could be examples of aspects of the job, like career building projects, opportunities to develop skills, or working in a great team. But if we focus on the phrase chance to improve, it matches specifically with opportunities to develop. This helps us confirm the answer. With this, we are done with all the questions of this passage. As we had discussed before we started solving these questions, we found the answers in whichever part of the passage we had expected to find them. The 22nd answer is before any of the subheadings. Then there are two answers in this part, one in this part, and again two answers from the last subheading. Knowing the tentative location of the answers can help you save a lot of time in your reading test. I'll continue solving the rest of this test in my next video. That's it for now. I hope this video helped you. All the very best.